So, as I said, this is my first game that I'm spectating, that I'm commentating on, so I don't know how well I'll do. I'm going to try my best to point out the whole goal and purpose of this game here that I'm doing. The reason that I'm watching and spectating is really to just say what I would do differently. We are going to be following Ansem because he is the person that I'm watching this game. And I do want to turn Fog of War purple side. I hate playing against Timo no matter who I am because Timo's a dick. Boot start isn't actually a bad choice. You don't see it very commonly anymore, but when you're playing against Xerath, it's actually a pretty big advantage that you can get. As I said, Xerath has a lot of poke here. Means Karthus is probably going to have to go back here for some mana a lot sooner. It's good that he's checking the brushes with his Q first. It does reveal.
Seconds until minions spawn.
What am I missing? These two. Alright. I actually really like playing Timo in general. As I said, I just hate playing against him.
Minions have spawned.
Starting off with an AFK. That's the way we like it. Can I not see pings? Okay, she is here. Like, I'd be pretty upset if the first game that I watched doesn't even have all of the players playing. So it looks like Xerath's gonna push up, which is actually really good for Karthus. Karthus can last it under tower pretty well. And him being under his turret means that Xin Zhao won't be able to get that advantage. As I said, if given the opportunity, I think that Xin should spend most of his time mid lane, or that both junglers should spend most of their time mid lane. I feel like top lane should island as much as possible here. The key to Karthus is really going to be just focus on farming. As soon as you can hit level 6, you can start trying to snowball the rest of your lanes. And the key to winning is not to get yourself ahead, it's to get your team ahead. So playing champions like Karthus, like Twisted Fate, people who can influence every other lane, actually plays a huge role in solo queue. I actually think Caitlyn made it to lane a little bit late. I'm not sure if she actually made it on time. One of the big advantages that Karthus has as well is he can really easily clear wraiths. Very nice. That was a perfectly placed wall. Force the flash. Just back out of this one. As soon as the flash hit, you should have just backed out of that. He was running a lot of health potions though. Got Jarvan heading down to bottom. Haven't seen Xin Zhao in a little while, so definitely a good time to place that ward. I would be really careful about pushing up the lane at this point, because Xin Zhao did spend quite a bit of time top. He's definitely going to be looking somewhere else. Xerath is pushing the lane though. Again, which puts Karthus in a really safe position. He did do a really good counter gank bottom, but now that he is visible, you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. You are kind of out of mana here, so you really can't poke Xerath out. I'm not sure what item he's going to plan on buying first. Let's see. He's got 900. I do really like the tier build on Karthus, and if you are going a tier, you do want to go back as soon as you possibly can for that. Definitely worth using your teleport to go buy it and come back to lane. I would make sure you get your cannon before you go back. The cannon experience is actually really high compared to the rest. He did go get that tier though, exactly like I was saying. You just want to make sure that the wave gets pushed first. And he should use teleport here to get back. I assume that Xerath is also going to be. Yeah, he just teleported to middle. So make sure you tell your team that they use things like teleport. It is a very big cooldown. Again, you don't want to snowball yourself as much as you want to snowball your team. So whenever you're able to use your teleport for your team, like if you can teleport bottom lane to secure kills, that's a really big deal. And as I said, when their abilities are down, you want to take advantage, you want to let your team know that they're not going to be able to take advantage of that somewhere else. It lets them be a little bit more aggressive. They don't have to play around things like wards. There's that first kill. So things are not looking too good for the team at the moment. Very nice. Very nice. Great map awareness to know that you can secure that kill there. Remember that Xerath has a huge range. He's not going to have very much turret pressure though. So he can push out the creep wave, and you might lose a wave if you have to go back early, but it's definitely worth going back if you need to make sure that you don't die. If you die, you're going to lose your turret anyway. And it's okay that you're a bit behind right now, because you have a really strong late game team. From a team comp perspective, I actually do like Purple Side's team a lot better. They have the Karthus and Jarvan combo, which is really strong. Very nice. And despite your team being a little bit behind, Karthus scales exceptionally well into late game, so as long as you're not dying here, as long as you're not giving up kills, you're doing the best that you can for your team. Also, don't forget that you can use Defile for that damage too. There have been a couple creeps that have gone under turret that all it would have taken is a single tick of Defile and you would have secured it. Xin Zhao is visible bottom lane. You're definitely low enough hit point wise though that I'd be going back. I would have gone back a little bit sooner, because if Xin Zhao was really confident in his ability, he definitely could have dove. Catalyst is a good pickup now. Going both tier Catalyst is a really nice, safe, defensive build. So it means that you'll be exceptionally tanky for later game.
Purple team's turret has been destroyed.
Very nice. Two for two on those Karthus ults is really, really good. Not much you're gonna do about that one. I probably, as soon as bottom went missing, you need to assume that they're going to be coming your direction. If you don't know for sure that they are heading back or doing dragon, I honestly think they should have done dragon instead of gank you, but there's no way for you to know, so I would have just backed off onto the turret. Xerath's already pushing onto the turret, so you're not going to lose too much more than you already have been. When you did see Xin Zhao come through here, I would have immediately dropped the wall first. But with both Morgana and Xin Zhao following up, there wasn't much that you were going to be able to do to get out of that one. Your team didn't have very good wards when they roamed up like that. So it's always better to just take the safer route and assume that they're coming to you. Good bubble. And as my chat brings up, Zin's really fed at this point, so he can definitely walk in and dive. So if you reach about half hit points, you should probably just give up the turret. I haven't seen Xerath use his ultimate yet. I'm not familiar with Xerath enough to know how much damage his ultimate can fully do if he hits all three of them. But I can definitely assume that it will do at least a third to half of your hit points if he goes to all three. I would say closer to a quarter to a third. Yeah, it looks like they're rotating. No, not yet.
Killing spree. Blue team double kill.
Let me rewind that real quick. I want to take a look at how this all went down. Okay, so she already died. As soon as he went in like that, you should have teleported to the bottom lane. You would have protected and saved the turret because Jinx wouldn't have been able to stay, and then you would have been in a great position to follow up on both Jinx and Xin Zhao there. And if they had killed you, your ult for sure would have secured those things. I'm surprised I haven't made a dragon attempt yet. Oh, it's happening right now. I see. Very nice juking. Definitely just go back here. Yeah. I would have gone back so you could go defend top. Actually, you staying and ulting right there might have been the best thing that could have happened, though. Ended up turning around a lot more than what I thought. But if you had gone back, you still could have gotten your ult off, and you could have went to top to save that instead. Or you could have even... If you had the gold, you could have picked up your home guards.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
I wouldn't have gotten home guards. You should have waited on the sorcerer's shoes as well. And really worked on getting your Rod of Ages. You really have to rush that Rod of Ages as quick as you can. So between your boots and that Doran's, that's almost the completed Rod. And that's really important to get you into your late game, if that's the build you're gonna go. I really hope Caitlyn's not gonna build her Bloodthirster. Definitely focus Xin here. Jarvan should not have gotten caught out there. Was it Jarvan? I think it was Jarvan who got caught right here. There was no reason for him to be there. If you're going to try to make a play on the enemy team, you don't want to do it in the lane itself. you want to fight with, I mean, you have a pink ward right now. So you can try to get your team to fight over an objective or a brush or a spot like this one here. It's not a bad idea to try to make a play. You should always be trying to make a play somewhere. But if you know that they have superior vision control, then that makes it really difficult. That's when you have to use a sweeper or a pink ward to find a good spot to ambush them from. If you're not going to ambush them, if you're just looking for a fight, when you're behind, you really want to be fighting under your turrets. Making a reactionary play under a turret isn't the best option that you can have, because it requires the enemy team to make a mistake. But at almost 16,000 gold behind, it's really your only choice, unless you're going for a pick somewhere, unless you're going to wait inside of a brush and try to catch someone with a sneaky play. Excuse me. Don't forget you can use your ultimate early too. You're almost a lot better off using your ultimate to start the fight, because then you can use your entire death. Oh, I thought she got Jinx. If you use your ultimate to start the fight, you can use your entire death spamming your Qs, using your lay wastes. And it'll still do the same damage regardless. You just don't want to use your ultimate when you're undecided about the engage. If you know that a fight is going to happen, like you know that they're going to come for your turret, you know that they want that fight. So I definitely would have stayed back while you're over here, use my ultimate, and then go in after. Another thing that you can do on Karthus is don't forget to flash into their carries. If you're going to die anyway, you want to get as close as you possibly can to people like Jinx and Xerath to do as much damage while your death to fight is going on. I would go get wolves. Always look for that little piece of farm, or even bottom lane. While it's pushed up right there, you have some pretty decent wards, so you can get that bottom lane farm fairly safely.
Blue team has slain Baron Nashor.
Definitely overeager by Caitlyn there. There's nothing you could have done to save her. That's gonna finish it. So, looking at the scores here, I mean, Jarvan died in a lot of counter ganks. Xin did really, really well counter ganking. And your bottom lane has some pretty terrible scores here. You might have been able to change something if you had been able to teleport bottom and try to turn one of those fights around. If, like, you know that Xerath was using his teleport to get back to middle and keep farming. If your teleport was used to help turn those 3v3s around and make it a 4v3 in your team's favor, you might have been able to get Caitlyn far enough ahead that she wasn't just getting rolled by Jinx over and over again. But there's not too much that you can do. I mean, you'll have games like that all the time where your team just dies over and over and over again. Let me do my points real quick. That's 15, 16, 17, minus 25, so you are -8 for that game.